Welcome to another episode of Knives Monroe versus the podcast. I am your host, Knives Monroe. How you guys doing? Hopefully, you're doing well. I'm here with Claire. Claire, how you doing?
Hi, I'm good.
Excellent. And today what we're going to be talking about on this podcast is the relationship between independence and a day job, having a boss and being your own boss. It's a subject that I might not so much be an expert on, but I think as artists, we both have this itch to wake up on our own time, go to sleep whenever we want, work when we feel like it, ship stuff that has our name attached to it, things that we own, etc., as opposed to building the dreams of another corporation or somebody else, let alone if it's a conglomerate that you despise, like a Walmart, for example. I've worked at a Walmart, and it was some of the most depressing months of my life. I don't know how long I was able to do that for, but it also had to do with the commute, taking a bus over there, 3 hours one way, 3 hours back, just to work at a Walmart. It was not fun.
Yeah.
I do want to say right off the bat that I know that there's a little bit of irony here in that nobody doesn't have a boss. Like, everybody has a boss. Even the president has to answer to the Senate, to the House of Representatives, to the American people. It is a service role. We were watching Downton Abbey, and I can't remember the character's name, but she was talking about living on the farm, and even a farmer's got a boss. Daisy said the farmer's got a boss. He's got to answer to the sunshine, the rain, and the soil. And so in that element, everybody is in a service position. Like, even if you are your own master, so to speak, you have to acquiesce to the demands of the market, to what people want, subverting those expectations or meeting them. So I just want to set that. I understand that because there's going to be a comment that's like, well, in capitalism's the boss, man, or whatever. I don't want to hear it. You know what I mean? I'm talking about making art and making money and the marriage between that on your own terms. And there's a graduation process of like getting off the ground with that. And I'm really interested to hear what you have to say most of all.
Me?
Yeah, because right now I kind of feel like I'm in this rogue position. It's weird. Full disclosure, I was working for a company. They fired me in March. And as cliche as this sounds, it was one of the best things that ever happened to me because I remember maybe 20 minutes after getting that news on the phone, which how I got fired was just so, I have so much respect.
So shady.
Well, I have so much respect for the human who called me and told me, we got to let you go. Bye. The way that process was, it was far more eloquent than that. It was like they cut my head off and I thanked them for it. It was just so well done. They killed me, yet I respected them for it. It's just so well done. But I remember riding my bike 20 minutes after that and feeling free, feeling like, I think that's okay. Like, I mean, it was a lot of money. I had insurance, you name it, right? I have a mortgage and a truck and kids and have a lot. It's the beginning of the year. It was Q1 and there, I have a lot that I need to pull off. But I was honestly filled with peace because that job was very stressful and I would have night terrors regularly. And
I mean, it was just stressful. Like, it wasn't like, was it soul crushing? I wouldn't imagine.
It had its moments. It had its moments.
But I knew that when you told me that they let you go, I felt relief. I felt relief because I knew that you were going to be in a better place after that. It was just so stressful for you.
I hadn't felt that way yet. Like I wasn't necessarily sold on that yet. But sometimes I'm the last one to see something. So that was the last time I had an official job, which was about 3 months ago. And been making ends meet with projects here and there. paying our bills with art money, as we call it. Right now, I am working part-time, I guess you could say, for Blended Sense, which is a tremendous company startup here in Austin, Texas. And they're doing incredible things. And the best part of it is I get to work with people that I respect. And it's an iron sharpens iron situation where I'm only as good as the other people that I'm working with. And that's a great place for me. I've been wanting that for a while. I want to touch up on that a little bit more. But at first, I'm trying to lay the framework for you and where you're at, just so we can kind of contrast that.
Yeah.
I'm used to going out and producing. I'm used to going out and finessing a gig to do photo or video or editing work. And you're in this situation where you have a full-time job and you're trying to kickstart multiple businesses at the same time.
Yes.
And that's what you want to do full-time.
So yes, today is actually my 3-year anniversary with this company.
Congratulations.
I love my team. I'll say that. Great people to work with. But yes, I do want to, and it's not a bad job, and I've had this conversation with my boss. It's not a bad job. It's not toxic. It's not soul crushing, pretty chill.
Do you mean that?
No, I do mean it.
I thought you were going to say, no, I don't. I don't mean it. I thought you were going to say that.
No, and it's not like a lot of like heavy lifting, so there's not a lot to complain about, but it's definitely something I want to be doing. So it's hard for me to be, I obviously don't want to talk shit about it.
And you're full-time, right?
And I'm full-time.
So that's a whole source of revenue.
Benefits.
You got the benefits. It's a hard thing to just say, I just want to quit.
Yeah.
We have responsibilities and it puts you in a situation where I'm curious, how do you manage getting your shit in and fulfilling your work duties in the same hours of a week?
It's time consuming. Like I have to make sure all my work responsibilities are done. I have to be there if there's emails or if there's DMs. And then it's just back and forth a lot of the time between like printing stickers out or something or trying to sit down and draw something. Usually once work is over, I grab the iPad and I sit down and I start drawing. Or on Saturdays, I take up the whole day drawing, which I feel takes away from other things. But it's like
what?
I don't know, like gardening. I want to, go to Lowe's, go to the garden center, work outside a little bit, or watch Downton Abbey, do
Great
something.
Show.
Yes. But yeah, I want to, at the beginning of this year, I wanted to be a full-time artist. I still do. But that obviously means creating a lot of art that I don't necessarily have the time for right now. And I work with universities, so the semester's picking up. So that's going to be a little challenge. But I guess since last year, my goal has been to quit this job and work full time, but the money isn't there yet, unfortunately. But I feel like my answer to that is just to make more art.
Make more art, yeah. It's hard. So obviously we have our small 2-person company, Indie Darlings. We spoke about Indie Darlings in our last episode. What is it even? What are the goals? What's the future look like? What was the idea behind it? But you also have a side gig on top of a side gig. And I don't want to be the one to really announce that first. It's not my place. But tell me more about that, because that's something nobody knows about, really.
Oh, yeah. Like I've only told like a handful of people. So I started another store. And so Indie Darlings is on Squarespace, right? So since last year, since 2019, I've learned. I sound like I'm out of breath.
Yeah.
So I'm like nervous about. Obviously, I'm not comfortable in front of the camera, as you are.
Why?
I'm not.
You're hot.
Shut up. I'm not in front of the camera often.
If you're good looking, you don't need to be comfortable in front of the camera.
Stop. Anyways. So, Indie Darlings on Squarespace, I started a new store called Rebellist, which is feminist apparel and mugs and totes and soon stickers and prints.
Rebellist.
.net.
Interesting.
Yes. And so the name kind of came from My dad always used to call me rebellious when I was little, which I don't think it was rebellious. I just think I was just being myself. And that was kind of the only name available. So I took it. And so this store's on Shopify, and that was a whole thing I had to learn. So from like April, May, I started like gathering designs and learning how to do Shopify. I took all the little courses, opened up a Etsy shop, which is suspended at the moment for some reason.
More on that later. Is Shopify vastly different than Squarespace?
Yes. It's so Shopify is so much better because it's more e-commerce than anything. But you can link all the sales channels like Facebook, Instagram, Google, Pinterest. And so I'm on all of them. But yeah, I put in like 2 months of work starting up the Instagram, the Pinterest, the Facebook. I also learned how to do Facebook ads, Google ads, and Pinterest ads.
Is the website live?
Yes, so it is live.
So if I'm into feminist iconography, apparel,
feminist t-shirts,
and so on.
There's some youth shirts there. Kids
Where do
shirts.
I go and what do I do?
It's called Rebellist.net.
You guys got an Instagram?
Yes.
What is it?
Rebellist.shop, I think.
Rebellist.shop, you think?
I think.
Shit, you better figure this out.
Because I think Etsy is like Rebellist store, and then Instagram is like Rebellist shop because the other ones are Rebellist is taken.
Rebellist. 2 L's or 1?
1 L.
Okay, good. So now you guys know where to find it. So
yeah, so
in case we're not making our point across, so you have a full-time job.
Full-time job.
You're a parent.
I'm a parent.
You're a mom who doesn't phone it in. You're there, right?
Right.
You're a full-time gardener.
No, I want
although
to
you
be.
wish to be. So you got a lot of stokes in the fire, and there's Indie Darlings, and there's Rebellist, this whole other thing that like I don't help you with.
No,
I don't do
you
jack
don't
shit.
help me with that one.
Just because I feel like I got a pair of testicles, maybe it's not my hill to die on.
Also, there's not much for you to do. Like,
right.
A lot of it's like, uploading the inventory and making sure looking at analytics is what I do a lot.
Mm-hmm.
Figuring out ads. It just gets expensive. Ads are expensive.
You know what your overhead is, your cost of living. So are you telling me ostensibly that your goal is for Indie Darlings, Rebellist, whatever it is, for it to be at a place where you're making enough money where you say, thanks a lot, daytime job, really appreciated you, no hard feelings, but it's time for me to go like 2 ships passing in the sea. Thanks a lot, peace out. And then you operate Rebellist and Indie Darlings full-time? Like, is that the goal?
That is the goal, to be full-time business owner and artist for Indie Darlings and Rebellist. And I'm hoping, and I say this every semester, this is my last semester, but hoping this is my last semester, I can work with my company and I can go off on my own.
So let's do a little thought experiment. I'm putting you on the spot here.
Again, okay.
Yeah. Iron sharpens iron. I know what I have to make with the market where it fills up a cup where I know, okay, that's a revenue stream. I'm making that much. It gives me enough runway to keep doing what I'm doing. Do you know, and you don't have to say a figure. I'd almost prefer if you didn't because it's nobody's fucking business. But what do you need or want, or what are you looking for? Like, when do you know it's your cue to say, okay, I'm ready. This is it. So now it's time for me to quit the day job and then go all in on my side business and make that my main thing.
I think, I'm not going to put a figure on it, but it's a high number, and I have to make that amount with both stores, with both businesses. And I think normally I figure that there's some overlap. People I always hear they're working full time, and then, at night they fulfill the orders, or, the orders there's too many orders that they have to quit because they need that extra time. There's usually some overlap, and I imagine that's how it normally goes. But really, I'm emotionally and mentally prepared to do all this stuff.
You are.
Yeah. I mean, just yesterday I said I was like this close to quitting, but
yeah,
it was like I was kind of joking.
Yeah, I hear that every now and then. What is your response to someone in the comments or somebody saying, well, how about you? They say if you want to take the island, you have to burn your boats. There is no going back, so I have to win here. What is your response to, hey, why don't you just quit your day job and figure it out? Like basically jump into the ocean and figure out how to swim or die trying. Like what are your thoughts on that?
I've thought like, why haven't I? But I'm too scared to do it because fear is it's a real thing. I'm too scared to quit, but also I don't want to have that stress of how we're going to make the mortgage payment next month.
So it sounds like there's two stresses on this side and this side. One stress is the stress of being at the beck and call and the will of another company, your day job, and then the stress of how am I going to pay the mortgage?
Yeah, that one's more stressful.
This one's more stressful, the mortgage stress, and that's why you're in the situation that you're in.
Yeah.
I don't think you're alone there.
Right. And like I said, the job isn't that bad where it's like, oh, everybody's going to quit the same day. Like, it's not bad. But financially.
Which we've worked at those jobs too.
Yeah.
Before.
And I wouldn't be here 3 years if it wasn't a cool job.
Yeah, if it was dog shit, I think you would have left a long time ago.
Right.
But it sounds like, you've made friends there.
Of course.
People that you can confide in and talk to.
Yeah, definitely.
It's definitely not all bad. It's like having another child. It's like, okay, this thing needs my attention.
Yeah. Did I have a child that I'm going to leave? Yeah, sure.
A child that's going to become of age, and then you say, now go do your thing, right?
Yeah.
It's different. I wanted to bring back Blended Sense, A, to promote them, and B, I was thinking about this on a walk meditation that I had this week. In 2016, I had left Teletech, which was a call center job. This is my call center. A call center job, and I worked there for almost 2 years in a leadership role where I didn't have to take the calls, and I finessed my way into that position as well. Left that job and left that stability. Eventually found my way to a company called Valley Native.
Wait, why did you quit Teletech? Did you quit?
I basically quit. I'll just say that. That's all I'm going to say. I basically quit, and it wasn't.
I don't remember.
Yeah, I remember, but there was no. It wasn't ceremonious. I just stopped going. Okay.
Did we have a conversation?
We had a conversation. It doesn't fucking matter. We're not doing that. We're not doing that now.
I remember I quit. I worked there too,
Way
but
before.
I quit because I was I was pregnant. No,
that was teleperformance. We're not doing this on the podcast right now. Anyways, let me just say.
Sorry,
so
go on.
I got with a company called Valley Native, which was also a startup. And they were creating a website, and it was what they wanted to be was Vice for the Rio Grande Valley. And I was able to make something like 10 videos for them that would get transcribed into blogs, photos, and it was like a dream job for me because I got to work with amazing people that I still am in contact with to this day. Someone that's been on my podcast, Oscar was on the podcast. I still speak to Mari Chewy to this day. It was just what was tremendous about it for me was, I got to work on the camera all day. I got to go home and edit. And that was like my job. And like, they didn't pay me any, like it was nothing. And it didn't work out. It only lasted a few months.
But you really liked that job.
I really loved it.
Really liking it.
And it had a sense of autonomy to it where I could wake up whenever I wanted, go to sleep whenever I wanted, eat whenever I wanted, and go into the office when I felt like it. But I still had to show up and like bring the goods. And I was getting reps in. I was getting reps of like, I just bought a brand new camera and I was getting it in and I was kind of building this reputation for myself down there as like that guy. It didn't work out. And ever since then, I kind of had a hole in me that was sad because, I've done the one man wolf pack thing. I've been the army of one guy where I'm the sole videographer going out and doing things. I can't tell you how many times, like, you know, I'm filming a wedding, it's time to eat, and I'm just miserable and I'm sad and I'm not happy. But it's because I'm alone. So with Blended Sense, I found these people and what they were doing and what, you know, I finessed my way into that company to film behind the scenes for them. And it gave, you know, first of all, they give me tremendous respect. I think it's because I'm older, you know, quite frankly, because there's a lot of young kids there that are working that are like 20, 22, 24, who are like years ahead of their time, who are tremendously gifted in everything. And just so, like, they have sparkles in their eyes. It's incredible. But I think I'm an older guy. I've been around the block a few times. I'm educated a bit when it comes to the business side of things. But most importantly, it's local. It's in Austin, Texas. And I get to get my shit in and be creative, and I'm not micromanaged. And that, to me, even though I'm not building my company, it's Blended Sense, and I'm helping promote them, and I want them to be robust and big. I've gone around the block a few times to know what makes me happy, and it's working with a group of people, but having the artistic integrity where people let me be me.
Right, and I think that was a big issue for you in your last position.
Yes. So the job that fired me, which they had every right to, I'm not salty about it. It might sound like I am.
Not salty.
No, but I'm not. I'm not salty about it. Like, I would work for the person that called me and fired me on the phone. I don't want to say their name. I would work with them again. And it's not personal. Like, I have nothing but good things to say about them. I think eventually, on a long enough timeline, I think I would have had a heart attack working at that job, but that's just stress, baby. Like, it's not personal. I feel the same way about all kinds of other things that I've done. But I'm saying that because what I find really, really important is let knives be knives. He just wants to create and not be precious about the particulars and ship the creative work and publish this stuff and get it out there. And I don't care what the jersey is. The jersey could be for Blended Sense. It could be for this company. That's my dog barking as well, which, of course,
his name is Steven.
When you do a podcast, your dogs are gonna. That's just what happens. But I have found, like, holistically, for me, that's what I love. You know, like, almost. It's like kind of being, this is going to sound terrible. It's like being in an open relationship. Like, I want to have I don't want to have the burden of being locked down in one company, because I get bored, man. Like, I really do get bored, and I'm like, I don't want to do X, Y, and Z anymore. I don't know. And so I need that variety. Valley Native gave me that, where, you know, one night I'm filming at the zoo. The next night, I'm filming an EDM show. The next night, I'm filming at some juice bar. The next night, it's some roller derby thing. It's like, whoa, it's new shit, new ways to tell stories. I try to do that with Indie Darlings. It's vast enough of a spectrum where I can do that. I have an ADHD brain where I'm like, I can't just stay in one genre, you know, so to speak. So that's how I get my shit in, is the creative work. Like, to me, it's like, if you're going to be an independent contractor, well, then I don't want to work at the same place every day. You could do that. You know, weddings, if you've been to one, you've been to all of them. That's just the truth, you know? So I wanted to say that with Blended Sense, like, they scratched that itch for me where, you know, I'm able to work for them part-time. And even though it, you know, I really feel like I'm giving them full-time, honestly, but just, you know, paperwork wise, it's part-time. They treat me with so much respect. I feel like finally, after, 9 years of living in Austin, I finally feel like I found my people. I'm respected. I'm recognized. I know what it is I'm doing. I've been getting the reps in, and I feel great. I feel secure about my work as a videographer. I care more about that, and I would take a massive pay cut to just feel that. And it's like an emotional thing, than it is to work at a job that's paying you 5 times the amount and you're fucking miserable. Like, that to me is what it is. Like, it's not about the money. It's about what you're doing to get paid. Is it worth your time? Because we only have so much time on this planet, you know? So I wanted to say that. and get my shit in with Blended Sense. Because,
Right.
you know, even though I'm working for another company and it's antithetical to what we're talking about, I still love and appreciate what it is I'm doing. And I care much more about how I make my money versus how much money I make.
Right. I think that's really important. I mean,
I would make that argument that if you, I hate it when people touch me when they talk. Sorry.
oh, but I mean, it's okay if you touch me.
I hate it, like, because when people do this,
Sweating with
yeah. When people do, like, yo, hey.
You do this a lot, though.
I know.
You do this a lot.
I know,
Like,
and I
don't
hate
know
it when
if it's
people
some kind of
do
power
that to
move or
me.
something.
I think,
Not a power move, but like
yeah, it kind of is though.
Yeah,
It's like,
a,
let me invade your
dynamic.
space.
Yeah,
It's so condescending.
and you have a heavy hand.
That's what I hear. So something tells me that if you were scratching your creative itch, and if it was more of a creative position where you got to make your art and you were sort of amplified and lifted up for that, maybe you'd be a little happier at your day job.
For sure.
Am I speaking for you?
No, yeah. So my position is a mixture of, working with clients, doing some content, digital content, but also like working with clients. So like, answering emails and stuff like that, analytics. So that's like the tedious side of it. If it were purely, if I was just purely creating content, probably wouldn't complain so much to you.
I'm always here to listen, though. You know how guys are. We're always like, I've gotten better at saying, like, I hear you. I hear what you're saying.
You just let me like vent.
Yes.
Instead of like providing some
like,
solution.
Here's X, Y, and Z. Well, then do this. And it's like,
we've had conversations about that.
It's not really helpful.
But yeah. I mean, also I think, I don't know, like it's just scary to think that I'm going to, like if I stop working tomorrow, it's scary to think that I'm going to have 40 hours a week to do art. Like, would I actually do it? Is the other question.
It's the other side of the coin.
Holding myself accountable for these things.
Yes. That's the other side of the coin. I have learned, for me, I don't know, probably not. I have like a major blockage. It's like what do they call it? Like when your arteries are clogged, or like when you have like something stuck in your brain, a clot or something, a blood clot. I have like a energy blood clot, if you will. I can't think of an analogy. It's like a rock in your shoe. Like it's a blockage thing that really fucks with me on being the best that I can be, the best creative that I can be. And it has a lot to do with two things I've learned. My attention span. I have an idea and then I'm like, I don't care anymore. It's weird. It's that. But it's also, I care too much about what dumbass motherfuckers think. It's the worst time wasting blockage that there could be, is that. And I'm trying to get better at not caring, but I'm somewhat of a public figure. In my creative world, there's a lot of creators who they just make this stuff. You don't know who they are.
I would like to be that person.
I get that. For me, it didn't work out that way. It worked out as like Knives Monroe, the personality, and he makes stuff, and sometimes he's in the stuff that he makes, and that's out there. And it's like a weird fiction that I don't have control over. And so then I'm like, it becomes like wrestling to me. Like I have to make the right creative decision that works for me business-wise, but also works for the image of myself. I hate that shit. It's so dumb. I'm telling you, it's like a blockage. Like if I can get over that and get over my attention span, it's really, really bad. I would be making so much stuff. I mean, I've been there before where I'm so obnoxious. So I can tell you, for someone who all of a sudden those 60 hours a week are just gone. I mean, I slept a lot. Like when I first got fired.
You did kind of like relax for a little bit, which I mean is a given, right? Like
there was a
while
while
of the shock and out of like just resting, regaining your energy.
No, don't get me wrong. Like when I got canned, shortly thereafter, like the next week, I was busy. Like I had stuff lined up.
Oh, that's true. Oh yeah, I forgot about that.
But when that was over and the dopamine wore off and the adrenaline was gone, all I did was like eat steak, eat pokey, walk, sleep,
You were
and
just
play
doing
Pokemon
whatever
Go.
you wanted, which is, I mean, I'm surprised I didn't resent you for a bit. I'm surprised I didn't, but I didn't.
Breaking news.
I don't know. Sometimes I feel like, one of these days I'm going to just have like some kind of breakdown and just pull the rug from underneath me and then be like, I'm done with this job, and then go off and do my thing. But I'm not that, what's the word I'm looking for?
Hasty,
spontaneous,
impulsive.
I'm not impulsive. I like things in order. I like things on a Google sheet, the timeline.
You're a responsible adult. Maybe 19-year-old.
Maybe that's not working for me. I don't know.
No,
who knows?
It's very valuable being a responsible adult. Impulsivity is overrated.
I mean, a part of me is like, the bigger the risk, the bigger the reward. But I mean, I also never been real risky. Not like this.
Some fucking capitalist made that up.
You told me that.
No, I didn't.
Yes, you did.
The bigger the risk, the bigger the reward. No, you'll tell me that You've
told me that before.
Okay, I didn't. But let's just pretend that I did. I didn't. But let's just pretend that I did, even though I didn't. I would have never said that. But we'll just pretend that I did, even though I didn't. But it's because I do take risks. Like I jump out the airplane with no parachute and I figure it out, so to speak.
I feel like you're very lucky. I have no luck. I don't have bad luck. I don't have good luck.
I don't want to take the piss out because I like it when you say that I'm lucky.
You have good luck. Like,
I like it when you say that.
Not things fall in your lap, but like things work out for you.
I like it when you say that because on one hand, I'm very lucky. Like I met you, I knocked you up. I inherited the world, Aiden, 2 kids at the same time.
Yeah.
And on one hand, I am very lucky, but on the other hand, I fail a lot, and I fail a lot. That's the thing. Like I fail a lot, and then I get a 1 success out of 10, and then people will call that luck. But I know, well, there was 9 failures that led up to that thing. Like I know all the cold emails and all the DMs where I get no sold, not read, blocked. It happens, and then 1. All you need is 1. I know that. I don't want, like, I'm taking the piss out of it and saying, I am lucky, but also sometimes it's not luck. It's really just like hitting the rock 10,000 times until it finally splits in 2. And then other people say, hey, that's luck. And it's like, no, it took 9,999 attempts. You just saw the last attempt and you think that's lucky. On one hand, I am lucky, because I shouldn't have even made it this far, my mom was like, hey, do you remember when you said I used to say I was never going to make it to 16? And I was like, yeah, I remember saying that, Mother. Thank you. She's listening to this. So like all this is extra in a way. And, I think there is a karma. I think there is a karma of like, sometimes I will let a money or like a deal go and I'm like, it'll come back. I believe in that.
Yeah, I feel like money flows, right? It comes and goes. There were a lot of times where there wasn't a lot of money, where we didn't have a lot of money. It was just tight. Yeah. But also it was just a strange time because we were in jobs that just didn't work out. And I felt like a lot of things weren't in alignment with ourselves.
Yeah.
How we felt, our jobs, where we work creatively. I think all these things just were all over the place. And I felt like once I started like fixing myself and aligning things just took off from there.
Yeah. Yeah. You have to be open to that. I was telling Albert when we were driving to Dallas on a gig last week.
It blended sense.
Mm-hmm. That's right. He's the president and one of the co-founders. I was telling him without saying too much, like I was on a contract basis with Apple, and I was pretty much a shoe-in for full-time Apple with the Apple benefits. And I said no to that opportunity, and I worked for a sales company called Main Street Hub, which talk about misery. You're talking about the times where we were barely making ends meet. We were miserable working job. Like, dude, the commute, the hemorrhoids. I'm just saying, like it was a wild time. But I told Albert that led me to work with Dakota, and So one risk led to like a big reward. Maybe like what would have happened if I stuck with Apple? I'd probably still be working at Apple to this day.
That's true.
And so that is a testament to the big, you know what? Big risk, big reward. I'm just kidding.
You said that to me. Where would I get that?
You say so. I didn't. But you know, so if I didn't take that risk, I know who knows where we'd be right now. Cause that, man, I think about it all the time. Like I learned so much during those 2 years working with Dakota. Like I learned so much and it built a lot of goodwill in general. And I got a lot of reps in that led me to where I am now. So sometimes you do got to, take a chance and invest in yourself. Right.
Right.
Like I learned with the last job that fired me, you can get fired for doing the right thing. So you might as well invest in yourself, because you can fail at this job.
True.
So fail on your own terms. If that's what it takes.
I mean, I don't want to fail.
Nobody wants to, but failure is part of the process. There's that TikTok, and we shared the reel on Indie Darlings, where anytime something bad happens or like she fails, she says it's good for the plot. Right? Like you're the main character in the story.
Everything has to move the story forward.
Gotta talk to the microphone.
Everything has to move this. This is so heavy. Has to move the
Yeah, but nobody wants to watch a movie where the guy gets everything he wants and he didn't have to work for it and he was just lucky. People want to see the come up, the rise, the failure, the pitfall, the Rocky, and he comes back, and people want to see that. So if you did fail and you failed in public, just so you know, it's good for the plot.
It's okay.
And you're the main character in the movie, Claire. All right. This was good. I like this. How do you feel about this?
A little what's the word? Cathartic? Is that the word?
Yes.
A little bit.
Yes.
I don't know if anyone from my work is going to see this, but it's okay.
If you do,
I have a life outside of my work.
Something tells me if you're listening to this, then you're in the same boat. So before you throw a rock inside a glass house and judge somebody else, judge your own fucking life if you are hearing this and you don't like it, because look, man.
But I mean, it's the truth. It's my truth.
It's your truth.
I'm not going to feel bad about it.
You're trying to build a dream.
Of course.
Don't take anything personal. When people try to talk shit. Don't take it personal. But this was a great podcast. I was happy that we were able to get this shit in. Thank you so much for listening. You know that Claire is working on 2 shops, indiedarlings.net, which, we have products available, hats, shirts, art, you name it, it's there. Also, Rebellist.net. Check it out if you're into the feminist side of things, or if you know somebody that is. Check it out. It's only going to grow. Yes. This is kind of like the first time she's ever been public about this. So
yeah, I haven't. You know how you tell all your friends on Facebook to like something?
Right.
I haven't even done that.
She hasn't done that yet. So this is an exclusive.
It's a big step.
And I'm very proud of you putting it out there. So it's a big step. And I cannot wait till you're your own boss and you're making ends meet with your art money, and then we can talk about that, how you did it.
Yes.
That's going to be a tremendous podcast in the future. So thank you guys for listening. I love you. Keep a force field around your heart, and we'll see you guys on the next one.
Bye.